Westpac underpays workers $8 million. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au which is discussing Westpac underpaying their workers. The latest example of a big business that has been underpaying their staff. There you go. I'm just going to move this over a little bit there so we can see it. Perfect. It seems to be all of these large businesses, and usually they're discovering it themselves, that they've underpaid their workers over years. Over years. Now, they seem to be doing crony capitalism wrong, aren't they? They're meant to put these mechanisms in place to make it difficult for their competitors to enter the market, difficult for smaller businesses, which make up the majority of businesses here in Australia, to compete. It's more red tape, more rigmarole, more pain. Or could this all be done with intention? Systematically trying to avoid or reduce their costs, but $8 million really is nothing for the banks. So let's have a look. Westpac owes 8,000 workers $8 million in the latest underpayment scandal. The major lender has apologized and promised to repay staff the millions of dollars owed as soon as possible. There you go. How many staff will be happy to get the extra money in their pockets? Westpac has become the largest Australian institution to become embroiled in an underpayment scandal after the major lender admitted to owing $8 million to 8,000 staff. The nation's oldest bank said this afternoon that an internal review had revealed a calculation error for long service leave entitlements. There you go. See, I don't even understand. The reason why long service leave exists is so back in the day when public servants came over from England, they could take long service leave every decade to travel back to England by ship to see family. That was why it exists. Why do we need it now? Wouldn't you rather be paid that money up front? But no, it's not. The people don't seem to understand. That is your potential wage here that is being put aside. That is money that the bank or any other business has to set aside, a debt they incur for employing people for a long time, rather than just paying you that money. All of these mechanisms and things in place that are completely outdated. Completely outdated. But you can't take it off people. You can't take it off people. It's too much of a luxury. It's too much of a luxury. So that's the thing. I never understood why it existed until I found out the reason behind it. Completely pointless now. Just another entitlement that people won't give up. And it'll hurt small business. It blamed the methodology used, which failed to determine long service leave entitlements in situations where staff members had changed their work arrangements, such as moving from full-time to part-time work. You'd think just having a job, a steady job for a long time itself should be enough of a reward. Because the problem is, if you're working in a business and they're holding a part, technically they should be holding a portion of your potential entitlements aside as long service leave. What if they go under and you don't get it? Wouldn't you rather not had this potential honeypot of long service leave in the future and have that money to invest yourself, because you're not making any interest on that leave? So you're working now. Think about it. You're working now and you're earning leave. You're earning this long service leave. You're earning it off time that you spent, and that's money at in 19 or 2020 dollars. And say you get the leave in 2024 dollars. What would you rather? Rather have that cash and earn the interest now. The system failure which led to some workers being overpaid, but the bank said it would not ask any staff to return what they were given. We apologise to anyone impacted by these errors, and our priority is to make payments as soon as possible, Westpac Group Executive for Enterprise Services, Alistair Welsh said. For long service leave entitlements, different rules apply to different employees based on their employment history and work arrangements. Regrettably, our system didn't correctly capture the right methodology every time. We're putting in place measures to ensure employee long service leave is correctly calculated. Just think about that. Think about the complexity of this situation with if one of the major 4 banks can stuff it up. How are all of the small business people meant to cope, meant to manage this? This is where, when people talk about reform, we need to simplify workplace relations. The announcement comes following a dismal stretch of widespread wage theft, cases of wage theft across retail networks, hospitality businesses, and other employers before the pandemic dominated headlines. In October, Woolworths revealed it owed nearly 6,000 salaried team members over 9 years, amounting to $300 million. Major restaurant partners were also guilty, such as Neil Perry's Rockpool Dining Group, which owed staff at least $10 million, and fellow celebrity chef George Columbaris, who repaid workers $7.8. Now, the restaurant industry, I suspect it's a little more intentional. And, well, having had clients who've worked in restaurant, it's a nightmare to make money, to make a profit, with all the pay and amount you have to pay your staff, particularly on public holidays. Here's the thing, should you be paid $45 an hour to carry a tray around? Just because, that's not the market, everyone. That's interventions into the market that are setting these outrageous prices, and it's killing business. He was telling me staff were complaining that he didn't have enough people on. And he said, sorry, can't afford it. Tough, work harder. I think he ended up selling out, focusing more on shows and events. Easier to make money, make a bigger profit. And there you go, that's what you want. You want entrepreneurs leaving sectors because it's such a frustration. But don't worry, you just want businesses churning, going through over. We want more bigger corporations, not the smaller entrepreneurs, do we? Others include the ABC, Target, Qantas, Combank, Sunglass Hut, 7-Eleven, Bunnings, and the Super Retail Group. The scale of workers being ripped off infuriates Attorney General Christian Porter, who blasted corporate Australia for the endemic problem and threatened to introduce new industrial relation reforms to name and shame those guilty of wage theft. So what if they implement this, and then you're a small business and you make an honest mistake, but then you're named and shamed? Do you think this would create another incentive for people to not employ Australians and to offshore work? Because yes, it would. 100% it would. The more of these risks that you pose onto business, and the big ones, they wouldn't care about it. They just pay the fine and The more of these risks that you impose, the less incentive there is for people to hire people. It's that simple. Get your house in order, he said in February. We've had large organizations that involve themselves in any number of social issues that spend an enormous amount of time, money, and effort self-promoting with PR campaigns and national advertising telling us how good they are. Pay your people properly. I mean, there you go. How could these poor bank workers? I mean, frankly, I don't feel sorry for them. Oh no, there's a slight issue in long service leave. How many people are never going to see long service leave in their entire lives? How many small businesses are only going to owe people long service leave and not get it? How many people are using their long service leave to go on their trips over back to the mother country, England, once their colonial appointment is up, taking that several month ship ride? I'd say it's a vestige of the past. We need to get rid of it. We need to simplify workplace relations. It's never going to happen. People don't want to give up their entitlements. They deserve this. But here's the thing. It adds complexity. It adds an element of risk to employing people. That's the problem. And we're in a different world now. You don't have to employ as many people. This is it. Whenever the state intervenes, whenever the state creates a risk, they create incentives and disincentives. They disincentivize people from taking on that risk, so they will minimize their risk, their exposure to it. So they'll get a Philippines-based business to hire all their staff, and I've seen it. And then you've got people here complaining that there's no manufacturing in Australia, that there's no employment in Australia. The problem is we start losing skills then. We become a nation that is very good at importing and probably protesting in the streets, and you get idiots saying, oh, we should become a global leader in solar power because we've got sunshine, and they've got no understanding of what they're talking about. Anyway, I'm rambling again and getting off topic. I mean, what's shocking here is Westpac have the resources, have the money. They should not be making these mistakes. What does that tell you about the complexity of this system? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Do you think we need to keep long service leave, or should it be something that's gone? Would you rather have your money up front and not be dependent on the good graces of your employer to hold on that for you in the future? Do you think you'd be entitled to that if the business went under? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us via our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays. You can support us via Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or you can use PayPal. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.